class, welcome back. We are finally in week 10, lesson 10.1. This is the final week of your biomimetic design course. Because it's the final week, you're going to be spending most of your time on your project. But before you do that, I'm going to ask you to do your course evaluation. And if you'll notice, that's due on Thursday, so you get that out of the way before you finish off your project. And then you're going to spend some time, about an hour, reviewing the really thoughtful evaluation and recommendation reports that your fellow students did for you. I know you did yours last week, you spent time reviewing your own, so now you get to see what other students have come up with for you. So spending about an hour doing that, and then you're going to spend some time, this is an assignment, identifying how you will use what you learned in the evaluation reports, both the one you did for yourself and those from your fellow students, how you'll use those to improve upon your draft design. And so what you're doing is you're going from this evaluate stage to the next lap of your challenge to biology design spiral. And this is a super crucial phase, going from here to here, because you can get this right and go right back to here. So you take your evaluate and you actually just kind of go backwards and you just kind of fix up your design, right? But if you want to use the full power of the spiral and of biomimicry, you need to do this phase, actually pause, reflect, and go to the identify stage and go through the steps again. And as with each lap in the spiral, they get bigger and bigger, but they don't have to always be thorough, long steps. You can, but you do need to pause, reflect, and identify what is it you really want to do with what you learned from the evaluate stage before you move on and get back to your final evaluate stage, okay? So I'm going to ask you to spend about an hour on that, and you're going to actually write up a plan of what you want to do to improve your biomimetic design portfolio project before you actually do that final work. And then you're going to have one last BCI, and what you're going to do is imagine your project in nature, because of course that is ultimately the idea behind biomimetic design, and as we've talked about, sustainable design in general, that whatever you design, it can ultimately be aligned with nature's cycles. So your last BCI, I want you to imagine your design and how well it is aligned with nature's cycles. And I did give you the constraint of having a realistic project and one that's buildable or implementable depending on what you designed. So it may not be completely aligned with nature, but imagine that and think about how it actually is more aligned, more sustainable, more innovative than if you hadn't used biomimetic design. And then the last thing you're going to do in class is to create your final project report and recommendations. And I so look forward to seeing what you guys come up with for this. Okay, this is a really short video because I've said as much as I'm going to say to you for this course. And I so look forward to seeing not only your projects, but I would love to find out what you do when you fly off after this course and continue to forward your sustainable design work using what you've learned in this course. Okay, everybody, so good luck, be well, and I look forward to you doing good in the world. Thank you. Bye-bye.